All right. I know this is later than I would usually post a video. I know that usually when it comes to something like this, I try to get a video up right after the game ended because obviously at that point you have most of what you need to say because you know the result. And I try to get things out in a timely manner. But tonight, that was not possible because, as the people who follow me on Instagram or Facebook know, I was at the Seattle Kraken game tonight. Was at the Kraken, got to see them win against the Blue Jackets, so that was pretty cool. But because of that, I missed this whole game watching it in terms of like from play to play to play. I just saw a couple highlights on Twitter or X, excuse me, and I know what happened. Obviously, I watched a few plays in the bar area where they had a couple of TV showing the game before the hockey game started. But once the hockey game actually got going at about I want to say six, a little after six, had to kind of drop my focus. So that's why I'm posting this video now. I didn't get home until like 5 minutes ago. So obviously, Seahawks fans, we're not too happy right now. I think that's fair to say. We are having to watch another division rival go play in the Super Bowl. Year after year after year, we see our division rivals in the NFC title game, winning the NFC title game, getting to the Super Bowl, in at least one case, winning the Super Bowl. And in 2 weeks, we might be seeing it again. So let's just start there, right? Like another division rival now gets to go to the Super Bowl, and our position in this division in terms of like room to talk about stuff is weakening with each season. These teams have, like the Niners, like the Rams, where they're on top of the world, where they get very close to the top of the mountain and possibly even get to the very peak. We have less and less to say, right? And not to go off on an unrelated tangent here, but seeing another rival go to the Super Bowl, which is something that we've had to deal with, I think, 4 times in the last 6 years alone, reminds me of how much we need to start seeking a higher standard of success in Seattle again, because we're not doing much of anything to prevent these teams from doing what they're doing, right? We're not really standing in the way. So to me, that's just kind of the first thing. Watching the Niners and Rams go to the NFC title game over and over and over again, and then frequently going to the Super Bowl, it's just got me thinking like, we got to do something to stop this because we keep losing to these Niners, we keep losing to these Rams, and they use us as a stepping stool to get to where they want to go. So it really does remind me of how badly we did need to move off of Pete Carroll. And I don't mean for Pete Carroll to catch strays in this video, but the standard had become so far beneath excellence over the last 7 years, basically the second half of his tenure as Seahawks head coach. And because of that, it allowed teams in the division to just use us as stepping stools. And it's not okay. And I'm glad that we're going to hopefully find somebody who raises the standard back to excellence because it's clearly possible, right? There's no reason why you can't do what Shanahan is doing in San Fran. There's no reason why you can't do what McVay is doing in Los Angeles. There's no rule against it, right? It's not like you have to be wearing a 49ers logo on the side of your helmet to do the things that the Niners are doing. So that's the first thing. Obviously, I'm bummed out to see the Niners make the Super Bowl. However, looking at the results of this game and understanding the way this game played out and the significant plays that swung this game, the conversation now swings to a potential head coach who was coaching for one of these teams. And he was on the losing team, like Mike McDonald earlier today. But Ben Johnson, 24 points in the first half. In the second half, it didn't go so well. Um, I think maybe they could have run the ball a little bit more than they did, given how successful they were running it. But I thought it was a masterclass for a good chunk of it. I was listening to the game on the radio and watching the highlights on X, and so much success on third down in that first half. Like 3rd and 12, they convert it. 3rd and 14, they convert it. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. You get them in 3rd and long, and they just find a way to do it over and over again. Very impressed with the mixing of the play calling from what I was able to glean from the radio and highlights. And in that second half, people are going to have their takes on Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down a couple times. I don't know about the first one. I think the second one was absolutely the right decision. But either way, like on both those plays, the players got to execute. The players, like you look at the way the Lions started dropping passes in that second half, and it makes you go, well, the players got to play. So even that second half, when things got tough and the Lions barely did anything, I kind of feel like it was more on players. Players got to execute. Goff missed a couple of throws, and receivers started dropping passes, and we had a fumble. Like Jahmyr Gibbs fumbling is not Ben Johnson's fault. And overall, given that he was playing on the road against the Niners defense, I came away from this game feeling extremely good about Ben Johnson as a future NFL head coach. And look, we're basically set now, right? There's nobody left in the playoffs that is a super hot head coach commodity. Maybe Spags, but I kind of feel like he's damaged goods because of how bad his initial head coaching tenure went. So I don't even really think he's a hot commodity. And maybe Steve Wilkes, but again, he's another guy who's been a head coach before and it wasn't very good. So at this point, we should be able to make a decision in the next couple of days here. And Ben Johnson looked great out there to me. He's not working with the greatest talent in the world either, by the way. He's got a good quarterback, but not a great quarterback. He's got a great offensive line. That's the one thing that's really strong there. I don't think his receivers are over the top good. Amon-Ra's great, but I don't think he has like the most talented receiver core in the league, not by a long shot. And running back wise, I mean, again, it's good, but I'm not looking at their running back stable and going, wow, they've got they've got it all set up for any offensive coordinator to do great. So yeah, I'm feeling good about Ben Johnson, just like I was feeling good about Mike McDonald earlier today. Yeah, that second half, I think, was more about the players. And if you want to put it on coaching, I think you can say a little bit more about Dan Campbell getting a little trigger happy with the 4th down attempts than anything Ben Johnson was doing. And Aaron Glenn, I know that the appeal of Aaron Glenn has very little to do with his defensive results. I had so many people in my comments trying to tell me, dude, it doesn't matter how bad Aaron Glenn's defense are. He's a great leader, which I don't know if I buy it, but obviously the results of his defense are not the thing that you want to pin on him. But for whatever it's worth, I can't say that I'm more encouraged by what he did tonight. And then, of course, you have Steve Wilkes, the only coordinator in this game on the Niners side who might be a head coach next year. Not his best game, and overall, I think that you've seen that he has been a bit of a downgrade from what they had with D'Amico last year, even though that Niners defense is still really good overall. So yeah, Super Bowl is set. Not what we wanted, but it's what we got, so we'll see what happens in a couple weeks. See you guys later. Go Hawks.